The Philippine Long-Distance Telephone Company, commonly known as PLDT, is the largest telecommunications company in the Philippines. The latest service revenues reported for the first quarter ended May 2015 is at a plus or minus 40.5 billion, and net income at a plus or minus 9.4 billion, equivalent to 1Q14. History: PLDT was established on November 28, 1928, by an Act Lorraine of the Philippine Legislature and approved by then-Governor General Henry L. Stimson by means of a merger of four telephone companies under operation of the American Telephone Company GTE. Known as Act 3436, the bill granted PLDT a 50-year charter and the right to establish a Philippine telephone network linking major points nationwide. However, PLDT had to meet a 40-day deadline to start implementing the network, which would be implemented over a period of 1 to 4 years. By the 1930s, PLDT had an expansive fixed-line network and for the first time linked the Philippines to the outside world via radio telephone services, connecting the Philippines to the United States and other parts of the world. Telephone service in the Philippines was interrupted due to World War II. At the end of the war, the Philippines' communications infrastructure was in ruins. U.S. military authorities eventually handed over the remains of the communications infrastructure to PLDT in 1947, and with the help of massive U.S. aid to the Philippines during the 1940s and 1950s, PLDT recovered so quickly that its telephone subscribers outpaced that of pre-war levels by 1953. On December 20, 1967, a group of Filipino entrepreneurs and businessmen led by Ramon Cajunco took control of PLDT after buying its shares from the American Telecommunications Company GTE. The group took control of PLDT's management on January 1, 1968, with the election of Gregorio S. Licaros and Cajunco as chairman and president of PLDT respectively. A few months later, PLDT's main office in Makati was opened, and PLDT's expansion programs begin, hoping to bring reliable telephone services to the rural areas. PLDT was permitted to operate during martial law. During the 1970s, PLDT was nationalized by the government of then-President Ferdinand Marcos and in 1981, in compliance of then-existing policy of the Philippine government to integrate the Philippine telecommunications industry, purchased substantially all of the assets and liabilities of Republic Telephone Company, becoming the country's telephone monopoly. Under this monopoly, service expansion was severely curtailed or practically non-existent. In the martial law years, people would apply for phone service only to wait for years and years on end behind an impossibly long application backlog. It is not unheard of for people and small businesses back then to barter for a single telephone line in the black market for tens of thousands of pesos. The incumbent Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore referred to the situation when visiting the Philippines during the term of President Fidel V. Ramos. He said, albeit in jest, in the Philippines 95% of the population has no telephone, while the remaining 5% are waiting for that dial tone. In 1986, after President Marcos was overthrown, the company was re-privatized as Ramon's son, Antonio Tony Boyo Cajunco, Jr. assumed post as PLDT chief. By 1995, with the passage of the Telecommunications Act and the subsequent deregulation of the Philippine telecommunications industry, the company has been demonopolized. Later that year, Hong Kong-based First Pacific Company Limited acquired a 17.5% stake in PLDT, making it the majority owner of the conglomerate. The company's CEO Manuel V. Pangilinan became the new conglomerate's president, replacing Cajunco, who assumed post as chairman until 2004, when Pangilinan became his successor. PLDT Digital merger equals PLDT acquired 51.55% of the shares of Digital Telecommunications Philippines from JG Summit Holdings on March 2011 with a cost of a plus or minus 69.2 billion. Because of this, the shares of Digital and JG Summit in the PSE surges while PLDT's shares remained unchanged. In the deal, JG Summit will have a 12% share in PLDT. It was finalized by the National Telecommunications Commission on October 26, 2011. equals other investments equals 20% of Meralco shall be sold to PLDT, according to the Lopez family, who owns the Philippines' largest electric distributor, on March 13, 2009. The deal is set to be done in the third quarter of 2009 with a cost of 20 billion pesos. The said action was done to prevent the hostile takeover of San Miguel Corporation, which already owns a large portion of Meralco. Wireless. PLDT operates its wireless cellular services through its subsidiaries, namely Smart Communications, Talk and Text, Sun Cellular. Media Ventures. In 1998, MediaQuest Holdings, Incorporated, a wholly owned subsidiary of the PLDT Beneficial Trust Fund, acquired Nation Broadcasting Corporation from the joint consortium of the Abbott family and real estate magnate Manny Villa. In 2007, MediaQuest bought the shares of GV Broadcasting Systems, a licensed direct-to-home satellite television provider from Sat Ventures Incorporated of the Galang family. With this, GV changed its corporate name to Mediascape Incorporated. On March 2, 2010, PLDT announced that its subsidiary, MediaQuest Holdings, Incorporated, has acquired 100% of TV5 Network, Incorporated and Primedia Incorporated from Media Prima and Antonio Tony Boyoka Junco, Jr. Ownership. The company's ownership is divided among the public, Philippine Telephone Investments Corporation, Metro Pacific Resources, Incorporated. Non-Philippine subsidiaries of First Pacific Company Limited, NTT Ducomo, Incorporated, NTT Communications Corporation and Manuel V. Pangilinan. Subsidiaries and affiliates. Sports Team, PLDT Home Ultra Fast Hitters. See also: Telecommunications in the Philippines, Internet in the Philippines, List of companies of the Philippines. References. External links: Official website, Smart Communications.